afternoon, everyone. Very welcome. My name is Chloe from the Media and Learning Association. I'm really happy to see you all today. I'll be the moderator and the host of the session this afternoon. So cross-border collaboration, mobile stories featuring eTwinning. The session, will introduce the mobile story interactive publishing tool and also the eTwinning platform. And we will give you some guidance on how to collaborate to do international collaboration. Before we start the session and to wait also that more people are joining us, I would like to go over a couple of house rules. So first of all, for those who are used to these webinars and for those who are not used to that, we will be recording the session and we will make the recording available afterwards on our YouTube channel, so both mobile stories, but also media and learning, and everyone will be notified once they are available. Also, please keep your mic off during the presentation. Of course, you are more than welcome to speak, ask questions, raise your hands, put questions in the chat. Don't be shy. All of us, or many of us here, are non-native speakers, so please speak it loud. And yeah, it's all okay. Please also put your camera on because it's always nice to see people and faces. And for now, we are a small committee, so it's quite nice to see everyone. And last, if you could adjust your name, so within Zoom, and put your organization, if you're a teacher or not, and your country, because it's nice to see where you are all from and to know who is taking part of this session this afternoon. So let's move on to the agenda. So we'll start first with my colleague and the founder of Mobile Stories, Emelie Skold. She will give us a short introduction of Mobile Stories, as well as our European projects. So some of you were already part of our last session a couple of months ago, where we talked about the project, but this one will be more specifically on teacher collaboration within eTwinning using Mobile Stories tool. Then we'll have an introduction from Emelie Hahn. So she's a teacher from Uppsala in Sweden, eTwinning ambassador, and she will quickly introduce us the eTwinning platform, the twin space of proms, and also explain briefly on how you can collaborate on cross-border projects with other teachers. Then afterwards, please stay with us. I know that a lot of you are scared with breakout rooms and speaking, but we'll have 35 minutes of hands-on exercise, and we'll ask you before the session. I've sent an email with different topics that we can tackle together. And so indeed, so here are the 3 different tasks that you'll be able to choose amongst. So I'll put it again when it's time in 30 minutes. So the first one is inclusion, gender equality and diversity at my school. This task asks students to research equality and inclusion policies within their school. So the whole goal is to create a news article. Then we have stereotyping, who are the heroes and villains in the media. So this task encourages students to reflect on and analyze stereotype and how different people are portrayed in the media. And then the last one, it's interview a local journalist. So the whole goal of this one is to encourage students to produce an interview or a podcast with a local journalist, specifically on the topic of disinformation or verifying information. And after the different breakouts, we'll get back together for a short debrief and open discussion on what has been said in the rooms. So without further ado, I'll introduce my colleague, Emelie, and she'll present Mobile Stories.
Thank you. So as already said, I'm Emelie Skold, and I'm together with my colleague Lotta Bergstedt, the founder of Mobile Stories and Voice for You. And Mobile Stories is an educational production and publishing tool that helps students to become trustworthy citizen journalists with a real audience outside school. And the idea is that by learning how to become trustworthy source yourself, you can also learn how to identify other trustworthy information. And we also work with audiences and stakeholders to raise awareness of the young perspective. And in Sweden, we have worked primarily in hard to reach areas in project funded by google.org. And yes, a quick background about how it all started. Lotte and I have both backgrounds as journalists, and while working in the media, we noticed an increasingly skeptical attitude among young people towards us as journalists. And we often heard the phrases like the media is lying and nobody cares about what I think, etc. And at the same time, we saw the growing challenge of disinformation and conspiracy theories online, and realized that our journalistic experience and skills could be valuable for everyone when producing and sharing content online. And so we wanted to transfer these skills to the younger generation through a scalable educational publishing tool for schools. And the tool is today used by students from the age of 12 up to high school and across all subjects. And it can also be used for cross-border collaborations or to start a digital school newspaper. And we also have organizations, NGOs, that use the tool in order to raise awareness around a specific issue or to engage young people in the social debate. So how does it work? We have, as you see here, a tool and a platform. So to the left here, you can see the digital newsroom where students create their content, such as news articles, opinion pieces, podcasts, or video reports, etc. So they can choose which article type they want to work with. And we have to the right here, you can see the publishing platform where students can publish their stories if they want to, together with students from the same school or with young people in other countries. And all schools get their own page in the platform and can publish on their school page, but they can also publish on a global first page, mobilestories.com. So again, to the left here, you can see the tool's interface, and to the right, the publishing platform. And on this platform, to the right, you can go in there after the session, if you like, and read stories from students in Ireland, Sweden, Finland, and Romania so far. And we hope for more countries further on. And the articles published there, they can be seen and read by anyone, so they are publicly visible. And our teachers working with mobile stories, they often use those articles for inspiration and as example articles in their classrooms. And I would like to invite you, if you don't already have a test account in Mobile Stories, you can get one as an educator. So you can, we will have some more information about how you do that, how you apply for a test account later at the end of this session. But before inviting students, though, you need to have a GDPR agreement in place in your school. But you, as a teacher, you are free to try the tool before. Yes, and we have different boxes in our tool where the students add different kinds of content. And one of these boxes are the reference box, and that's a very important part of the process, that the students need to add their references here. So they add first the name of the source, and they get to describe short description of the source and a link if they have one. And then if you look at the picture down there to the in the left corner, why is this source reliable and relevant? Here we found it very important to have these questions for the students to actually reflect on what sources they actually are using and why it is credible. And then when you can go back one slide, please. To the right here, you can see how it looks when they have published their article. The reader can see the sources at the bottom of the article. So it's exactly like a Wikipedia article, that the audience can actually see the links and the sources and check for themselves. And this is something that we think strengthen the student reporters' trustworthiness as well. Yeah. And for this project, the PROMS project that we are doing together with our partners, we have recorded a bunch of new videos, content for the guidance for the students, with journalists and fact checkers around the world. And here are some of them. You can see Milja from Finnish Vasabladet, the German correspondent Thomas Sparrow, and Ushi Jonas from the fact-checking organization Correctiv. And you can find those videos integrated in the tool, and you get it while you are working with mobile stories. But we also have a YouTube channel and a YouTube playlist where you can find these materials open for free access. Yes. And working with mobile stories involves adhering to our ethical guidelines, the Young Reporters Code of Ethics. And students receive information and reminders about the code while working with their content. And also a link in the code to the code is included at the bottom of the published article. And the initial version of these ethical rules was based on the ethical standards for publishing followed by the Swedish news media. And then in this project, we have developed these rules together with our partners and collaborate with other organizations that also are working with schools and journalism around the world. So we would like this to be promoted as an international standard for ethics when you publish and share things online, because we think here it's a very good the press ethics is a very good thing to have, even as a normal person not working as a journalist when you are doing things online. And next slide. And here you can see, as I said before, that the ethics is included at the bottom of the article. So just in the established news media, always have those policies at the bottom of the page, so the reader can actually go in and have a look. And also that's an important thing, that you are transparent with how you work and the working process, because that is also something that strengthens your trustworthiness as a reporter. And that's something that students are learning when they are working with mobile stories. So we also have developed, actually in just a few weeks ago, we were ready with these. We have developed ethical guidelines on how to use AI responsibly when working with mobile stories and publishing on our platform, that also our partner organizations use News Decoder with their students. And we have this as a poster to put on the classroom wall for teachers, for example. And then we have also a more elaborate version for teachers working with mobile stories. And these are the main things that we bring up in this guidelines: transparency, making human stories, accuracy and verification, and fairness, and avoiding bias. We know that many teachers are struggling with this new technique, and we hope that this can be something to hold on to for teachers too. Yes. And here are some of the results that we have gotten from our Swedish schools. It's a survey that we made that included 1,175 students and teachers, and where 90% of the teachers said that mobile stories was engaging for their students. And that's something that we are very proud of. And this was even before actually we developed the international version, which we believe actually is even more engaging and fun to work with. And 85% of the students developed their meal according to their teacher. Meal is media and information literacy. And 83% of the teachers said that they discuss sources more often in the classroom when working with mobile stories. And I believe that this is a result of the potentially possibility to publish, that if you aim to publish your story, you become more thorough with your sources and ethics, and even with your language, etc. So having an audience outside the classroom is a big part of it, I think. And we give, as I said before, test accounts to educators, and you don't need to be a teacher. You can get a test account even if you are, for example, an NGO working with schools or young people somehow, or if you're a researcher and you're curious about our method. And this is important to emphasize that before you invite your students, you need to have a GDPR agreement with mobile stories. For this eTwinning mobile stories cross-border collaboration project, we do invite schools that can use mobile stories for free. Unfortunately, we can't give free accounts to all schools. Maybe we have a limit, so we will give you a form, a Google form after this session, where you can apply for a free account, where you also can give a brief description of how you would like to work with the tool if you have a potential partner school in another country, and so on. But you will get more information at the end of the session. Okay, that's all for me, I think.
Yes, thank you very much, Jenny. If any one of you has any question, please raise your hand. You can also put the question in the chat. I think my colleague will be happy to answer you. So if there is no pressing questions, I'll give the floor to Emelie to introduce the eTwinning platform and the twin space. Emelie.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone, and great to be here today. My name is Emelie Hahn, and I'm a teacher. I work at Skold in Uppsala, Sweden, and I teach social studies and German, and my students are 12 to 16 years old. I'm also an author and an eTwinning ambassador for Sweden. I've been using eTwinning since my first year of teaching. So it's more than 10 years now, and I've been an ambassador for a couple of years. And in this project, the Pro-MS project, I'm sort of in charge of the eTwinning part of it. And that's what I'm going to talk about today and also show you. And I've also worked with writing the tasks for the project. And you'll see and get to try some of them today. And I know you've gotten them beforehand as well. And I know some of you already know what eTwinning is, because I recognize you from the eTwinning platform, and I've already admitted you to the project space, the twin space. But for you who don't know what eTwinning is, I can just shortly tell you that eTwinning is community for school. It's an online space for teachers and school staff to collaborate and to develop international projects. You can also develop national ones if you want to. And it provides a totally safe platform for teachers and students to work together with schools across Europe. And the eTwinning program is a part of the Erasmus Plus program, but it's totally digital and it's free, and you don't apply like with an Erasmus application to work with eTwinning. And you can also discuss in online groups, and you can follow peer learning. There's a lot of professional development and activities, both webinars and also courses that you can take as well, alone or together with colleagues at your school as well. And you can register as a user on the ESEP platform, and that stands for European School Education Platform. And as I said, it's totally free to join. And then you have the account, and you can go in and also join projects and join all the different activities that I just told you about. And I'm going to share my screen so you can see what it looks like, and this will be a short view of the project. I can show you what it looks like when you get to the first slide as well. Then it will look like this, and you can see your profile up here. And you have your notifications, your dashboard, your twin spaces, and your twin spaces are your home pages for the projects that you're involved in. And you can see your groups if you joined any groups according to your interests. If you want to join a group on sustainable development, for example, and you have your profile, so you can, add your picture, write about what kind of projects you're interested in joining, and so on. And to be able to join the Pro MS project after being successfully logged into the ESEP platform, you need to add me as a contact, and you can click on connect and then people to find me. And then when you've added me as a contact, you can send me an email just asking me to be able to join the project. And then I'll add you as a teacher administrator, so you have access and you can upload the work you've done with your students on these 4 tasks and so on. And then when you're admitted to the project, you can find the project under my twin spaces. So you click there, and I'll admit you as soon as I can after seeing your messages, of course. And then here you can see the project, Pro MS, cross-border collaboration, mobile stories, and eTwinning. And first, you see the short description of the project, and then you get a project overview. You have a teacher bulletin where you can add information that you want to be pinned here at the first page. And right now, we're not a lot of teachers in here, but I hope more will join after this webinar, since this is the kickoff of the project. And of the start page, you can also find a chat room where you can chat with online members about the project and discuss whatever you want to discuss according to the project and the tasks. And you can create an online meeting, and that will work exactly like Zoom that we're having right now. And you can agree on with other teachers who are in the project that you're going to have an online meeting together as teachers, or you can also have online meetings together with your classes so they can discuss the work they're doing, if they're working on the same task, for example, and they can also share the finished tasks that they can present to each other, and they can, after having read tasks of each other, they can ask questions that they've prepared beforehand. So yeah, they can ask and answer questions that they might have. And there are a couple of more things here. We don't have any pages right now, but when we've started working with the tasks, we can add them later on. Under materials, let's see. You can add images of your students working. You can then click on images, and you can add them here. You can drag files to upload, and you can also add folders for your pictures. So we can have a folder for each school, for example. And it's the same with videos. You can add them under there. Yes. And under files, you can add the different articles, the tasks that the students are writing. And right now you can see the different tasks of the project that are uploaded, and also the cross-border, the cross-border teacher's guide as well. But then we'll add folders for each school to have their articles in, so you can quickly find what each school has done and so on. Yes, I think I'll stop sharing right now, and you can ask me anything you want about eTwinning and I'll try to help you, but the registration is quite easy. And then add me as a contact, as I said, and you can DM me that you would like to join the project, and I'll admit you as soon as possible. And I hope you want to join. I very much look forward to work with you all together with my students.
Thank you, Emelie. And I wanted to just add a couple of words for also, I see that there is a couple of media literacy practitioners that are maybe not teachers or working within a school. It's quite different, the interface then. You can register as an organization, as an NGO within the platform. You do have access to the different twin space projects, events, webinars, training that the platform is organizing. However, you do not have the same interaction as you would as a teacher. For example, we experience it for the projects. You cannot find the members in the same way, and you have a limited access of the different resources and contacts. So yeah, it's still interesting though, because there is plenty of projects and there is a variety of topics as well. But yeah, just for you to know.
Yeah, that's a good add, because yeah, as I said at the start, eTwinning is a community built for school and school staff, but it's still interesting to join, as Chloe said, and you can still, even if you're not a teacher or working at a school, you can get a lot of use out of eTwinning as well. And
also for those that are non-European, because for example, I know that Paula, you're from the US, then it's kind of different as well. We have a Facebook group, so you can also join the Facebook group. We will be sharing resources on there. Yeah, updates on the projects and information on the tool and how to collaborate with teachers. So it's also possible via the Facebook group. But yeah, unfortunately for now, eTwinning, it's EU countries.
Yeah, true. But we have so many ways to collaborate. So
Indeed. Yeah.
yes, it'll work out.
Okay, so let's move on. I'm just gonna put the slide again with the 3 different topics for you to choose. We're gonna go in breakout rooms about 30 minutes, just go over the different worksheets we shared with you before the event and discuss together on that. So
we had such a fun discussion. I'm gonna close now.
Yes, sorry for that. Just let's wait a couple of seconds that everyone is back from the breakout rooms, and then we'll have Jenny, Sabine, and Emelie with me. Yes, and just to discuss how it went. First of all, on my side, because I was working from one breakout to another, I was really surprised by the conversation, and also I thought because at the moment we are working on the teacher's guide and also explanation for the worksheets and how to conduct the different tasks within your class and the preparation and all of that. I thought seeing at all of the answers, some of them could be actually incorporated in the guidelines and incorporate some example and all of that. So I think it was really great for us, and we'll gather and we'll collect all of the answers and think about how to include them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I also really loved the discussion in my breakout room. I was hearing some of the things that the teachers were raising, and I was just thinking, you know, this is some good material to include in our guide, because as Chloe mentioned, we don't only have the cross-border worksheets, we have several different worksheets to use with mobile stories, and we are working on kind of instructions that might help teachers with how to prepare, some talking points and so on. So yeah, that will be announced later.
Another point that I wanted to make, it's the difference of number of people in the different breakouts. It seems like stereotyping, for example, and also inclusion, gender equality was way more attractive than interviewing local journalists. So I don't know the reason why. Maybe it's the practicality of going and interviewing a local journalist, and stereotyping and gender inclusion, all of that seems maybe more easy and to tackle in your classroom. Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. Yeah.
But you know what's interesting?
I have one answer on that question, because we actually talked about the what difficulties, what were the challenges in doing such a project. And there's one teacher that did a journalistic project with her students, and it was about interviewing local decision makers and experts and so on, people from local society, and that it's a lot of time outside school, because they cannot do it. The students can't do it on the lessons, because they need to travel to some place to do the interview. So yeah, but then we talked about the possibility actually to do it on Zoom, or even as a last alternative, on email, that it's actually doable. It's better to do the interview on email than not doing it at all. So yeah, I think that would be a challenge for many teachers if you're actually going to see a interviewee in person like that.
And would it be possible, for example, to ask the journalist then to maybe visit the school and do interview then during school time? Yeah, school hours. That could be also maybe an option. Yeah. Sabine?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that connect here. We also had these, you know, it was also one of the things that we discussed, and we also talked about how, you know, that is probably one of the things that the teacher has to prepare for. You know, what are the experts for these different types of articles that you would interview, and you know, how you might have to contact them in advance. And sometimes you can even organize, you know, a Zoom press conference where all the students can ask questions to the expert. But I also found it just very, very interesting that at one point, you know, our worksheet, it asks to find an expert to interview, expert on stereotyping and media representation. And one of the things that were, already from the very beginning raised as a difficulty by one of the people in my breakout room, Paula, was that, where do you find these experts? Are there really that many to interview there? And then we actually ended it with, concluding that there are actually more people than just have the kind of official academic type titles experts. There are, for example, librarians that you can interview. And we also ended with interviewing a local journalist. So maybe people didn't want to join the breakout room as much about interviewing local journalists, but, interviewing them when you're writing an article on media-related topic can also be the end point here as well.
Yeah, I think indeed a lot of people have in mind experts as academic and so on, but maybe in the guidelines and for teachers, we could include recommendation and advice on just reaching out to cross-sectoral. It could be anyone, like small organization working in the town or in the city where your school is at, and maybe this person is able to speak on this specific topic and so on. So not specifically an expert, but yeah. And Emelie, did you have any challenges in your room regarding inclusion, gender equality,
Well, we all
diversity?
have it in our curriculums, and that was very nice to hear. And we agreed on that. We all teach about it, and it was interesting to discuss how we do it. And we talked a lot about preparation and how preparation is key for this task, and how all the questions that we had for the tasks are connected, but it all comes back to preparation, really. And preparation will also be used to bridge the gaps that you'll have, like if for this, what the students can struggle with, like if you prepared, then you'll bridge those gaps, hopefully include vocabulary, because we agreed on that words might be what students struggle with really in this task. And we talked about how we can start a task in like an interesting way to engage the students. And there were a lot of ideas how to start with some kind of brainstorming. And also that you can start with a real story about a person who fights these aspects in real life to engage and sort of start the task as well. And we talked about how we can work together with partner schools with this task, because what's really interesting that I think about this task is that you can compare the steps. And the idea was to contact partner schools and compare step 3, 4, and 5 on the worksheet. And that will be really interesting discussions, we think, between the students.
Thank you.
Can I also, Chloe, just add some things to my presentation before?
Yeah, of course.
There's a question in my room. I missed to say that, but in Mobile Stories 2, you can actually invite, you can have a group for your class, but you can also have one group and invite students and teachers from another country in another school. So you can actually choose to collaborate between schools. And if a student starts an article, because one student needs to start the article, but then he or she can invite other students to collaborate in the tool. So they can create articles together. For example, if one wants to take the photos and another one to do the audio, or so they can collaborate around an article, because it's a lot of things to think about when you do an article.
And they can divide the task between themselves.
They often have different talents and different interests. So it's like, it becomes like a digital newsroom group around each article. Or they can just choose to do the article all by themselves. It's okay too. And also teachers can invite each other. So if you have a group of students, more than one teacher can access the students' articles. So you can have a teacher from teacher for another subject, for example, or a teacher in another country or a partner school in the same group. So, and also an important thing to emphasize is that before the student can publish the article, firstly, they can see the article even if it's not published on the website as it was published. You can
It's
see
a preview.
In its layout, even if it's not published. But then if the student actually want to publish it publicly, the teacher or admin needs to approve the article before. So it's not possible for students to just publish articles on the internet if the students, if the administrator hasn't approved it first. So I thought it was important to know.
Yeah. That there is multiple steps before the actual article is published. And if, because we had this question also before, if some of the students refuse that the article is publicly available, they can also decide on not publishing it and just keeping it as it is, and they can still preview it as it would be appearing on the platform. So it's a nice way.
Yeah, so the most important thing is the process and the learning that you gain while working with the tool. And then as a bonus and also as an motivator, you can also have the potential, the option to publish it online.
Yeah. So yeah. So thank you all. Is there any question, any pressing question, anything you'd like to ask before it ends? I also mentioned that in 2 of the breakouts, but we have actually 1 other worksheet. It's on sustainable development. We didn't share it with all of you because it's a more complicated task and it needs more preparation, and we thought that tackling during this webinar was not possible, but you can also have a look at it. So we have 4 main cross-border tasks. You can, all of them are accessible. All right, so this is the end. Then I will share a couple of last slides with you all. So again, you can connect with other teachers and collaborate through our Facebook group or the eTwinning space, and just connect with Emelie, and she will explain you and help you on your way in the platform.
Yes.
This is what it looks like. I just put some visual for you to have an idea. And the last point, so if you want to use the mobile story tools for a eTwinning project, please submit your interests by filling the form. So my colleagues will put a Google form link in the chat. So please, we have a limited amount of spots for collaborating with eTwinning classes and to use the tool. So we ask you to fill in the Google form, and then the most enthusiastic and motivated class will be selected. You can also email us at info@mobilestories.se, and we'll be very happy and delighted to answer all of your questions. So thank you all.